You hear me say anything about men from Mars?
No, you didn't.
All I'm trying to tell you is this.
Okie dokies, we've got a stream. Hi everyone in the stream. It's still 15 minutes away from the main show if you're new here, but that's okay, stick around because we're doing the pre-show right now and I'm just setting things up, setting crazy stuff up like live chat, pop out chat. I've got to get live chat going. There's all the Volcas. There's actually two more that aren't in camera here. But while I talk about that, I need to copy that link and go into here and go into here. There's so many things to do. It's all fun and games. Okay. Is the mic working? Tell me if I'm coming through loud and clear, everybody. This should get that up and running. Let's just check to see if we've got chats working. Why is that so zoomed in? It's zoomed. Bah! Look at the. There's a pic of you down there, Foxy. It must have been the last comment I flagged from last time. With your puckered lips. Awesome. Do. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Yeah, Volcas babies. 1, 2, 3. Actually, technically, I don't have 8. Technically, I have 7. Would you classify a Volca mix of Volca? What does it say Volca or not? Anyway, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 there, and 2 over here. So if you can see on this camera angle, there's 2 here. Can't fit them all under the camera. And yeah, there's 2 other Volcas that I never ever ended up buying, so I don't know if I ever will. Yes. I don't have any chatties yet. I mean callers yet. What's happening with my callers? Is Inverted coming? I know I'm pretty sure Darren's not coming this week, if I remember rightly. So Chob, are you coming in on the call, or I can't remember if you said you were or not. I'm pretty sure you said you were. If you're there, jump on in. Because at the moment it's a pretty empty house. I think I need to change Inky's over. I haven't changed the titles from last week. Wow, lots of people have just jumped in. Look at that, like clockwork. Isn't that beautiful? Does the Volca work? Right. But yes, you could have, Hanway. You could have been the caller. We have Mr. Popes. Let's go to here. We have Mr. Popes, but we don't have Mrs. Inky.
Can you hear?
I can hear you. Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear.
Fabuloso. We could probably adjust levels and things in the next 5 minutes or so. My interwebs. Oh, Inky's just knocked. Okay. Hi, Inky.
I just kicked Pope out.
Yeah, I've got to give him Darren. I think Darren's not coming, is he, today?
No.
So you guys are going to keep knocking each other out. I have to give I'll give Mr. Popes Darren's number. 1 second. 1 second, everybody. We have a small issue. Chob, I'm going to give you a different number to call in on the browser because you keep knocking Inky out, and because she wasn't here last week, you're using hers. So
right.
Just give me 1 second. I'm going to paste it. Have you got the Facebook open? Can I paste it in there for you?
I haven't got Facebook open, but I can have.
That would be wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. Where is Mr. You're going to have Darren's place. Only if it just would stop scrolling on me. That would be wonderful. Okay, this is Darren's. No. Cool. Inky, I've told Chob to use Darren's. He's seen it. This is wonderful. Inky, you're still there, aren't you? I need to change your lower third. Lower third? What the heck? Actually, why don't we do... Why don't we do something tricky here? I can move... Inky to there, and then I can move Mr. Popes to there, and we can put chatties. Hello, everybody.
Hello. Everything coming through fine at your end?
Yes.
I'm looking terribly on my screen.
You're looking a little bit pixelated.
Yeah, it's just a tad.
Pixelated. But yeah, we can persevere.
Last week.
We can persevere. Trying to get these titles right. There we go, and there's live chatties. There's Inkster.
Hello.
Okay.
How do you do?
Hello, Chob.
There we go. We'll put chatties in the corner there.
Gotcha. Think you all right?
Yeah. Yeah, really good. Really good. How are you?
Yeah, bearing up.
Now your mic
Yeah.
needs to come up a bit, Mr. Chob.
Okay.
Mr. Chobbity Chob, and I think we'd be good to go. Now, Inky, I need to
How's
change your
that?
name. Yeah, that's a bit better. Keep talking for a sec.
Okay.
Yeah, I
1,
don't
2,
think
1,
Darren would be
2,
happy.
Testing.
Yeah. You can come up.
You never know.
You can come up even a bit more if you want.
All right.
We won't hold it against you.
Just about everything.
Yeah, that's nicer. See, it's a bit of
Okay.
presence. A bit of presence. So
Ah,
all
we
of our
like a bit of
levels,
presence.
yes, all of our levels should be fine. And then we've got lots of people in chat already. I'll say hello to everybody at this when the show starts. In the chat, let us know if you think our levels are all good. We can, Inky, start with you. Your level.
1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, Mr. Chob.
1, 2, 3, 4. Sibilance.
And me, 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't even touch mine, so it should be the same. Chatties, let us know in about 10 seconds from now. The delay. All right. Now, also, I need to find out if my sound is coming through here. Well, I can hear it my end, so I'm assuming it's coming through.
Yeah, loud here, loud
Yeah.
and clear.
Good.
And they're saying we're good as well.
They like it? Good. That's a good start. All right. Okay, we have Volcas at the ready. Darren's having a break, so he's in the chat room. These are all the Volcas. There's 6 here. And there's another 2 just next to me, which I can bring in and out if I need to. I don't know if we need to plug them all in and stuff. I think I'm just going to plug 2 or 3 in at once. Right. I kind of feel a bit weird tonight. I don't know what's with me. Anyway, we'll persevere. So, we've got 5 minutes before the main show. How's everyone been? Good? Are we all settled?
Yeah.
Good. Can't
Good.
figure out why cameras is bad this week. Same setup as last week.
Yeah.
Is it? Could be the internet.
Could be. Depends how many shows my kids have got on downstairs.
Oh, you've got to ban them. I've banned mine.
Oh, yeah.
It's banned.
You got to take the kids off. Yeah.
Yeah. They weren't when I came upstairs, but now I'm out of sight.
Yeah, because that.
Oh, you got to bribe them.
Yeah, that'll choke your bandwidth, mate. If they're downloading, it will affect your upload. Coronavirus. Ah, dearie me.
I like the fact that this week, during Inverted Pope's own premiere, he was on somebody else's channel.
Got to get around.
You must have
Yeah.
wondered where we all were.
Just bad
yeah,
time. Yeah, bad timing.
yeah. But
I
both very
I was already.
similar.
I missed that by about 2 hours. You know how we were talking about how I missed it, and
Yeah.
I think it was about 5 a.m. my time. So I could have, if I set my alarm a little bit earlier. I usually get up at about 6, but I slept in that day for good reason.
Fair enough.
So yeah, I don't. Do you guys have toilet paper issues over in your country? Have you heard about the toilet
Nope.
paper issues over here?
We have where we are. Shops are empty.
So you are getting toilet
Really?
paper issues. Oh, this is crazy.
Yeah. It's
And
like
you?
all might need.
Hand sanitizer
should
and toilet
go.
paper.
Yep, all gone.
Yeah. So it's not just Australia; it's all over the world, I believe.
Yeah.
That's just crazy.
We haven't got those problems here. It hasn't dripped down to Cornwall, literally.
You have to wait a while.
I'll be sending me order in.
Everyone's driving down to Cornwall to get their dunny paper. It's a nice 2-hour drive from anywhere, basically.
No, 4
About
4-hour drive to
5 from where
Bristol.
I am. Oof.
Yeah, well, I mean, anywhere other than Cornwall is about 2 hours, isn't it? So
No, well,
if you want to go to Dorset or something
Well-
like that, it's about 2 hours, right?
no. You can go to Devon, but there's nothing really there except really nice beaches. And you can go to Somerset, and there's nothing really there except really great countryside. So the nearest thing you can go to is like Bristol.
Yeah, Bristol's 4 hours, isn't it?
Which, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't really know how far away it was when I moved here. I might have moved a bit closer. But hey,
Yeah.
you know, if you want to drive 4 hours to come and use my toilet, with toilet paper, you can.
I used to live in a
Very
town.
kind of you.
I used to live in a town in the middle of Australia called Alice Springs. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. I used to live there for about a year. And if you ever want to know what remote is, that is remote. There's about 20,000 people there, and I think half of them are tourists. And the only reason why it's probably there is because the big rock that we have in Australia called Ayers Rock, or Uluru, I think they call it, is nearby. Yeah, but anyway, Inky, come and see me about being remote. I think I know what it's like. All right, we're going to be...
The whole of Australia's remote, though, isn't it? I mean, the time difference, the shipping thing. I mean, I didn't really understand how that really does affect you, the whole shipping thing.
Oh, yeah, it's a similar word to shipping, but with a T. Yeah.
Spelled slightly differently.
Yes, that's it. And it does require toilet paper. Okay, we are...
Topical.
About to... Lisa,
This is such a highbrow show. That's
Yeah.
why people join in this stream.
Ever
all the
class.
wonderful, the wonderful gifts we give them.
Yes. Okay, I'm about to hit the magic button. Here we go. We are going to start the main show. Go! Hello, welcome to another Saturday, and it's really lovely to have you here. And if you have never ever been here before, especially a warm welcome to you. My name's Rand, as you can see below, and we have some wonderful people who like to annoy me, and I probably annoy them every week. And we'll start with ladies, of course, first. So big hello to you, Inky. How you going? Oh, it says inverted pipes. That is brilliant. I'm going to have to sort that out.
Well,
hello,
just
inverted
in case
pipes.
you don't, just in case you don't know who our other guest is, hello, inverted popes.
There we go, fixture.
Hi, Inky.
Yeah, I've been good. I've been brilliant.
Good, awesome. You're behaving yourself too, I'm guessing.
Always.
She looks
You know,
troubled by that.
Yeah.
All right, well, big hello to Chob. How you going, mate? How's your week been?
I'm all right, thanks very much. Mostly fighting with this lot here, trying to rebuild the studio, get it wrong, rebuilding again. And after the show, I'll be doing that again.
I think you're fighting with data as well with your kids, by the looks of it. I think you
Yeah,
tell your
breaking
kids
capacity.
to get off YouTube.
I might have to go and shout at them.
Yeah, find a quiet moment and you can go shout at them. It's really, really awesome having you here, and we've also got some other guests here as well, and they're called the Chatties. So hi, Chatties, and I thought I'd, like I like to do, scroll all the way back to the start and say hello to all the Chatties who have jumped in, even if they've left in disgust. We'll still say hello to them. If I have forgotten you, I like to say this: throw a synth at the screen. That'll always tell me off. Foxy Nirvana, how you going? Hanway, nice to see you. Chilurian, good to see you again. Brian, it's good to see you. Axelsoft, nice always to have you here. Finn, and keep scrolling. 888 Berg, it's awesome to have you, mate. I just said Finn. They're all talking to each other. You're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to talk to each other. What's going on? Nah, just joking. Darren's in the chat, so Darren's having a week off, or I don't know what he's doing. A bludge, we'll call it a bludge. Michael B, good to see you. We should make Darren a mod this week. What do you reckon? Let's mod him.
Yeah, because I don't want to do it.
Add moderator, done. There you go, Darren. You look very handsome now in your moderator colours. Okay, keep going. Obviously Inky's in the chat as well, which is good. And obviously Inverted Popes is in the chat too. So Berkut, it's good to see you. Wow, there's lots and lots of people. Wagyu, nice to see you again. And a lot of you guys, I notice, we all kind of get around. So we see you on different streams, so it's good to see everyone sort of out and about. The Intergalactic Federation, commonly known as Dazza from Down Under. Nice to see you, buddy. Nice for you to stay up. I know you struggle with the late nights. Sonic Neutronics, awesome to have you. Who else have we got and we've missed? Wow, it's just scrolling and scrolling forever. I feel like I'm on Facebook right now. Mr. Mac is there as well. Awesome. I think we've got through it all. And Andrew Me, I think just one of the last ones that just popped in. So if you are lurking, don't be scared to lurk. Because we just bite. You're just saying we don't bite. I'm just going to say we bite. Then everyone can get all that off their chest. All right, cool. So this week, we are going to ignore all the crap that's been going on in the synth world, and we're going to just talk about the cool stuff because we don't need to talk about all the other crap. Right, let's get straight into everybody's favourite segment. Let's call it the funny side. All right, now Dazza, I hope you've been staying up, mate, just for this one. This is just for you. I've noticed that you've just popped into chat, so that's good. All right, this is to start with. So, anyone who's ever heard the little Johnny jokes when they were at school? I think there was a joke about a frog. Anyway, but this one is quite good. Yeah, so if anyone's been following memes and Volcas, I mean, this is topical for tonight because today we're doing Volcas. So where do you put your Volca is a good question. This guy has maybe suggested in his rectum, but anyway, we'll just move on from that. That one's for you, Dazza. But speaking of Dazza, I don't know what he's been on. Like, mate, it's been watching your videos and what the hell have you been doing, buddy? It's been up to something. Dazza, this is from your video, mate. He wants to be
an alien. Yeah, I watched that.
We all want to know what he's been up to. Well, there you go. That's what he's been up to. Dazza, you can't hide.
It's pretty late at night when I watch that.
You can't hide, mate.
It was scary.
All right, moving right along. Hey, they don't always have to be memes. Sometimes they can be Twitter posts and they can be from the company themselves. Look at this one. I'm watching everything, guys. So if you're putting posts up and you're a company, you're not going to hide from me. Look at this one. No, you don't have to be a clone to sound so huge. Jeez, having a dig there, aren't we? Eh? Let's have a little dig. Beauty. That was a good one. I like that. I'll give that one a pass. And I just think I'll throw this one in because this one has got a lot of people talking. Have you seen these fake glass cups that have got the little fake rubber spilt drink? Apparently it's a good thing to do when you're in a recording studio.
That's evil, man.
Dearie me.
I would fall for that and go ballistic.
Yeah, anyone would fall for that. That is nasty, nasty stuff. So if you've got a real idiot of a sound engineer that you know, this might be a good practical joke to play on him or her. Mind you might have to also learn how to run fast. For real. Are you serious?
Yeah, well, not me personally, but I was at a gig, going to give me age a bit here, Thin Lizzy, back in the who knows when.
Yeah.
Playing away marvellously. Gary Moore had joined by this point, come back. Suddenly it was all on the back line. There was no sound, and somebody spilled 8 pints on the desk at the back.
Oh, jeez.
Cancelled the gig. That was the end of that, and we all went home very disappointed.
So what, were they all lined up or something? 8 pints around the desk or something, were they?
Yeah, he had a tray of them.
Oh, jeez.
Trip, spill, bang.
That'll do it. While we're talking about... I'm just going to say quickly while we're talking about funny things to put in your studio, Ken's just said that his wife and kids like to put fake dog poop in his studio. Sorry, Inky, you go.
Yeah, that's really good. That's really good. So if you've experienced that in any way, you generally have a rule that all the beer must go lower than the synths. So I used to have like everything on one level and then the table at the bottom for all the beer. So you can't spill it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's simple, really.
Yeah, you got to
have beer and be happy.
You got to have one of those anti-spill sort of cups. and that should be the only thing. In fact, there's a lot of studios that say no liquids at all. So yeah. Anyway, I thought they were quite good, and I tried my best to stay away from the obvious stuff that's been memeing this week. So hope you guys enjoyed that, because I think it's refreshing to not talk about something. All right, cool. Let's keep going. What have we got next? We got news. Let's roll it. Oh, there's a change to the news. Go. I got sick of the other tune. That's all it was. All right. So the latest news, I always say this, if you've been living under a rock, you will not know what's going on. This is really, really, well, probably for me and Inky and whoever else is into sort of sequencers and samplers, this one has really pricked my ears up. Polyend are a great bunch of guys. You might have heard of them. They recently teamed up with a bit of Dreadbox, was it, to do the Medusa, and that's a pretty awesome thing. But anyway, this is a new thing that they're bringing out, and their website is teasing us. They love to do the teasers, but what we do know, it's definitely going to be called the Tracker. This is a render, I think you call it. We don't really know much else about it. There's a lot of information missing on this, but what I can tell you is that if you can actually go on their website and subscribe to their newsletter, and they'll update you on the info. But we do know it's definitely called the Tracker. It's capable of creating everything like a DAW, apparently. But this is the thing that I find really interesting. They're saying it's inspired by a music composition workflow of the 90s. Now, I just want to pause for a moment there. I don't know if you guys were around Polyend in the 90s, but music composition in the 90s was a bit shit. It's much better today. So I don't know where you're going with this, but anyway, I'd bring that one up. I hope you're bringing the good parts about music composition in the 90s. Anyway, so yeah, it apparently is going to have a sampler, a synth. Apparently the synth is a VA, so it's digital. It has, they've mentioned FM, but they haven't said whether it's an FM synthesis FM or whether it's FM radio like the OP1 has. My guess it would be FM synthesis because that's really popular at the moment. It also has a wavetable synth, I believe. And the other thing that I find interesting, I'm not really sure the details with this, but they're talking about, what they've said is you'll be able to take this anywhere and make music wherever you are. So that was their statement, but what that means to us wonderful people is it probably might have a battery in it. That might be the case. It might be a bit like the Volca. Yeah, a bit like the Volcas, and a bit like the other things like the boutiques and the MPC Live, all the things that carry OP1. And a lot of people really, really love the fact that things are mobile and have batteries in it. Now, price, we don't know, and availability and all the other further info, I don't know. This is kind of just leak territory. Anyway, let's just get a quick reaction from either Inky or Chob. Who wants to go first? Inky, probably, because I know this is right up your alley.
Yeah, do we? Is it confirmed that that's got a screen on it? Is that going to be a screen, or is it like a tracker pad?
I would love to know. I've been asking, and people are saying that it could be either. So we haven't got any confirmation yet. Yes. I'm
getting excited to see what it is and what it does.
Yeah.
Because they're really good at sequencers, and the fact it's portable and got a synth in it, depending on how it works, it could rival the MPC for me if the workflow's even better.
Well, the workflow, I think, is going to be the thing that will really set this apart, because they did talk about it taking its thoroughbredness from the 90s, and that could be, it might be like an SP1200. I don't know. It could be, like a Akai samplers, which would just be not a good idea. So yeah, just be very careful what you're saying about the 90s, because there were some really, really crap workflows back in those days. I don't know if anyone ever remembers sitting in front of a rack-mounted Akai sampler like the 2000s. Darren, I know you've got one, mate. They were an absolute nightmare to program, and you literally would burn through cases of beer programming those things. Chob, what do you think, mate?
Yeah, still got mine. I'd like more information on it. I've not ventured into that area. I mean, I was chatting with Inky a while back about these sort of things, and she was sort of saying, well, the MPC-1 could fit into your workflow. And then last week I've seen this, and I thought, it'll be interesting, but I need more information. Can't make any judgments on what I don't know about.
Brilliant. Well, it's good having guys in chatty because Ken has said that apparently it is a screen. It's been leaked somewhere. I haven't got the photos of it though. We'll see if we can dig them up during the show and show it. But apparently there's leaks of the photos of the screen and the UI, and it has an old school tracker. Ah, there you go. So there's the 90s side. So maybe a bit like the Amigas and the Atari trackers. Awesome. I love trackers, so that's definitely pricked my ears. I'm excited now. That's really cool. Inky, did you use a tracker in the day? Did you ever use a tracker?
No, I'm not even really sure I know what one is.
Okay.
If you tell me, I'll tell you whether I've used one.
When we finish this, go back through my live stream, you'll see me showing the Amiga on there, and I go through a tracker on there. You'll see exactly what they look like. One of my early live streams.
What is it? Is it like where you put the notes in?
Yeah, it's kind of like that. It's
like
text-based sample sort of player, and you can pitch and, you know...
Yeah,
like
you pitch it like A+. Yeah, like it was on the Amiga, because I've done the Amiga.
Yeah, exactly. Like that.
Yeah.
That's the tracker.
Right, okay, yeah. Yeah.
They used to call them mod trackers. It's another name for it. Yeah, mod tracker. Anyway, I reckon that's awesome news. I really, really love hearing stuff like that, and it's good to see that they're trying new ideas out with old ideas. So that's also cool. Let's go back to the news because we have one more thing to show. It's kind of a little bit sad. It's a little bit sad, and that is that if you're really, really, really looking forward to Music Messe this year, because of all the issues with the coronavirus, and they're just worried about everything, so they are going to postpone it. Now, I don't know what postpone means, whether it means they're going to put it a few months down the track, which would be kind of weird, but they might. Now, does this affect Superbooth? No. At this stage, Superbooth is still rocking ahead for April. So if you guys are sort of keen on Superbooth, then at the moment that's still scheduled and nothing's changed on that. However, the German government is kind of going to be controlling or dictating whether these events will go ahead depending on how bad this coronavirus is. So we were just talking before in the pre-show about toilet paper. You know, it's getting bad to the point where you can go to the supermarket now, you know, whether it's Costco in the UK or whether it's Walmart in the US or Woolworths in Australia, or Coles. We have Coles here as well. And you just find supermarket shelves where the toilet paper is completely bare and empty. And I should have actually put a little picture on there. Apparently in the US they've been knifing each other over toilet paper. They've been stabbing each other over it. Don't know if that's a good idea. If you're watching and you're a musician, please don't stab each other over toilet paper. It's not a good idea. Yeah, go.
We're all right. We live in the country. There's just trees.
Yeah.
But when all the leaves go off the trees, then we're going to worry.
Just find a bush or a plant or something. Yeah.
You'll be all right till autumn.
Yeah, true. Until autumn. Yes. What I was going to say is that I'm absolutely perplexed as to why toilet paper was the thing that the human race has gone to.
People are stockpiled on. Not food. Not food.
Oh, no.
We are a wonderful race of human beings, aren't we? The other thing apparently is the hand sanitizer. I don't know if that's hit your part of the woods as well, but you can't get that anywhere either. Someone's kitchen is full of hands. I don't know why. I can understand the theory behind it, but just, I don't know if you guys know, but hand sanitizer is an antibacterial prevention, and the coronavirus, notice the key word there, virus, is not bacteria. It's not bacterial. It's not going to prevent you from getting a virus. It's very, very well known.
I don't think this audience would get that wrong. I don't think this audience. I don't think we're responsible for the hand side. You know, crisis. I mean, jeepers.
It's bizarre, isn't it? I thought I'd bring that up in the news segment because I just thought it was just the week that we've had in the world. I reckon we're all experiencing similar stuff. It's just completely bizarre what's going on. I mean, yeah, all of us are kind of slightly worried. You know, we think to ourselves, yeah, it wouldn't be nice to getting a flu, especially a nasty flu that kind of creeps into pneumonia. And as you get older, you're sort of a bit more susceptible. It's all that sort of stuff I definitely am taking seriously. But the funny side of it is the loo paper, the dunny paper. So anyway, we'll move on. We'll move on. Yes. I think it's safe to do that. Okay, next segment. We've only got one for this one, but I wasn't too happy with this one. We'll see how the chatties go with it. This one's always popular anyway. So yes, I have found another one this week, and yes, this time it's actually a synth that I own. It's a Yamaha DX7 FD2. I think you're actually supposed to say DX7 2 FD, but anyway, that's fine. Let's not split hairs. £850 I didn't think was too nasty as a price. I don't know what you guys think, but because it does include cartridges and a quality flight case. Now, there was a picture of the flight case. You can actually go and have a look at this listing. It's still live. I've actually got exactly that. I've got a DX. This is not my listing. My name is not Shrewd Izzy. But that would be a pretty cool nick. No, I actually do have a DX7 2 FD, and it does have a flight case, and it also has cartridges. So, and if I was to get £850 for it, I would be pretty happy. So, having that said, is this a scam? Probably not. Probably not. Is this a little bit overpriced? Maybe. What do you guys think? You guys think a DX7 2?
A tad overpriced.
Bit overpriced?
Yeah, I think it's just a tad overpriced. I mean, ironically, during the week, I was looking at DX7s, just seeing what the prices were, taking a trip down memory lane from when I used to own one, and all that menu diving that you used to have to do. And I didn't think they were ridiculous prices, but I probably wouldn't pay that myself at the moment.
I think the going rate is around about £250 to £300 for one. That's so that's technically more than double. So you know, people do get their nose out of joint when it's more than double. But yeah, what about you, Inky? What do you think?
I think that price for a DX7 is quite low for a piece of history.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how many are still working. Probably loads.
Mine is.
But depends how much you want that history, doesn't it? If you really want that headache, you can go and get that headache for that price. I don't think for a synth that's been around that long and is that iconic is unreasonable.
So the twos, I think, came out in 85, around there somewhere, maybe creeping into 86, depending on by the time they hit the shelves. I have to say that if you've actually had a bit of experience with the DX7 range, you will notice that the DX7 2s, and this FD version is no different to the 2s, just without a floppy drive. They actually are really, really solidly built. And also the DAs on them are a little bit less noisy, which is good. Some people don't like that. They like it to be a bit more, romantic to the original sound. That's fine. I actually prefer to have less noise coming out of my synth, but that's just me, especially if it's digital. But yeah, they're really solid. Those things are built like a tank, and £850 for it might be a little bit overpriced. Maybe you could twist his arm if you really wanted it. But yeah, I don't think it borders on
the
scam.
question is, do you want to buy a bit, I think you're saying, a bit of history, or are you after the sound? Because you can get the sound elsewhere.
Yeah.
But if you want the history, then you buy the object.
That's it. And look, there's not an infinite number of these out there. Some of these are starting to die. They're digital, so the processors on them, once they break, it's pretty hard to fix. You can use a free VST to get the sound like you said, Job, like Dext is a good one, free. You can also get a DX7 from Arturia as part of their suite of things, which is also pretty good too. So,
or even a little one by Yamaha
yeah, the
that
reface
they brought out. Yeah. So, if this guy bought it in '96 and it's only ever been with him, it's in mint, and you wanted something like that, it might be worth it. Not to me, because I'm not that sentimental except for my pens, but that's it. But somebody might be.
I reckon it's a good segue into our topic of the day, because one of these Volcas is actually modelled after the DX7. That's the Volca FM. That's the one sitting below all the jungled cables here. There you go, Volca FM. Look at that. Yay, there we are. And that actually does, I believe, work. I've actually got these plugged in. So I've got the Volca mix going here, and I've got the 3 Volcas. I think those 3 are plugged in at the moment. Now, what I want to do is, I do want to talk about Volcas, and I want to talk about them in a whole different way. There's the sound, there's the hooking it up, there's the way you can record them, there's the way you can power them, there's whether they're crap, whether they're good. We can do all of that, and I only will say one thing. If you're going to be disappointed, bad luck. I'm not rich and I can't afford them all, so I am missing. I don't have 2 of the Volcas, which is the new bass one, or new bass if you want to call it that. And the other one, what's that one called? The drum? Is it drum? I think it's drum. So yeah, they're the only 2 I've got missing up. So what I've got, just so you guys know, is what did I just do that? I just pressed the wrong button. So we got FM mix, which is the mixer, kick, the modular, the bass, the keys, and also beats and sample sitting over here, flapping away in the breeze. All right, so we don't need to have them all plugged in, but what I thought we'd do is just talk about them from a whole bunch of different points of view. So first, what I would like to get is maybe let's get some opinions about them. I'm going to show Wagu's post. Okay, cool. All right, let's go. Starting with you, Chob. Have you got any Volcas, mate? I actually didn't ask you that.
Yeah, no, I've often looked, but I've never attempted. I think mostly because I was going down the modular route and looking at modular devices in themselves, and it just never quite fitted into the workflow at the time.
Yep, fair enough. So you've thought about maybe getting one at one stage? So you were close?
I've often looked at them. I never got close. Okay. I think that it's fair to say. For some reason, they just didn't appeal at the time.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I won't.
Yeah. You never know. You might love them after tonight, or you might hate them even more. I don't know. Inky, do you have? I actually don't know if you've got any. I don't think you have. Do you?
Yes, I've got 3. I've got Volca bass, Volca FM.
You've got an FM,
and
yes.
keys.
Oh, I didn't know you had those.
Yeah, I love them. One of my favourite little setups is like the circuit for the drums and the FM and the keys going through a long delay and reverb, because they're really easy to manipulate. I've got small enough hands, and you can do little tricks on the FM, like trigger the art, but just make it one step long. Yeah. And then and just, you can make some great music on it. The only thing for me is I'm a bit paranoid about mini jacks for audio. Don't ask me why.
Yeah.
But so for me, I've got a little box that I might take out in the summer. I might actually see Chob with them, and he can have a look at them. But yeah, they're in a box because I'm not using them at the moment.
Yeah.
Not because I don't love them.
Yeah. You don't have to justify why you got them in a box. I've got stuff in cupboards, so, that's fine.
Yeah. I've got the stuff in boxes right next to me.
But they would make just a superb little kit to take out,
Yeah.
they fit that job brilliantly. But as for other uses, I have a funny thing about mini jacks and audio.
So Eurorack has a lot of 3.5 millimeter jacks.
Yeah.
So you know.
But it usually has it's a master out unbothered.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I do know what you mean.
Do you know?
Yeah.
Because at some point you get proficient with Volcas, and you're on a table somewhere with people. You need to make sure that those jacks aren't coming out with some gaffer tape and all that kind. You know, I think ahead on these things. So you know, going out that mixer,
They're the jacks.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
So these are the exact jacks. They're tiny, aren't they? So that's what Korg actually supply you. They're pretty short as well, as you can see. So yeah, I can see what you're saying. I think that's definitely something that might put people off. That's for sure. Another thing that might put people on them is that, and Chop, this may have been a good segue before you went into your Eurorack. You might have thought, well, I don't know if I want to go and spend my life savings on Eurorack yet, because that's what we do. But this one here actually is a way to get into Buchla, which is another form of synthesis that a lot of us don't really have much to do with, because most of us only touch the sort of the East Coast synthesis.
Have you enjoyed that?
Have
you been enjoying that?
This is amazing. This is actually really, really cool. Not only because it's got all the little I haven't got the cables there in the cupboard, but you can actually do CV on this as well. So you can actually hook this up to your Eurorack as well. So it isn't just like a little standalone modular thing. You can actually hook this up to Eurorack. This is cool. You can do things like ring modulator on it and things like that. So, you know, it's pretty cool. But there are Volcas that I think are complete and utter wastes of space. Some people might disagree with me, but I've got one right here, which I think is going to end up on the for sale thing, and that's this one.
I know what it is already. Oh no, really?
Yep.
Oh no, I wanted that.
Well, I might send it to you.
And I'm surprised you said that.
I might send it to you then, Inky, because I just can't understand it. You can picture it, you can play it like a keyboard, like a mono synth if you want, or it's just a kick drum, or it's just an annoying whistling sounding overdriven filter, and it's just, I don't know, I just find it a bit annoying. It's pretty limited, you know. If you were to compare that, like say that cost you the same amount of money as a Volca FM, or the modular even, that they're worlds apart, like in terms of flexibility and that. So some people are going to kill me for saying that, but hey, it's my opinion. I'm allowed to say whatever I want. So,
well,
you know.
No, I'm glad you said that, because that's the only one I ever wanted that I don't have.
Well, I'll post it to you and you can have a play with it for a few months and see how you like it. We'll organise that offline. Okay, so speaking of all the different things, the reason why I think it's a good idea to talk about Volcas as a whole is because there's so many different ones, and you might get to the point where you're like me and you've got 6 or 8 or whatever you've got, even more than 2 is probably, you know, a fairly decent amount, and you probably think to yourself, how do I, you know, work all these together? What's a good way to set them up? What's a good way to power them? These are all kind of basic questions that I think a lot of people need to know. I don't know if we're going to have time to go into like each one and maybe look at some of the cool things that they can do, but we'll try. We'll see how that goes, because there's definitely, like Inky's mentioning the FM, how it's got the ARP, you know, there's definitely some nice, you know, quirkiness with them all. And I think we should probably talk about their positives. Absolutely. So, okay, so if we've got a whole bunch of Volcas, what's the best way to hook them up? So, and the answer is there's lots of different ways, isn't there? Inky, what would you hook them up? How would you just power them by battery or?
Power up?
Yeah.
No, because they eat batteries. You get one of those cables they sell on. Well, you just Google it and then you get them, and I think mine does about 5.
Yep.
It's a power source.
Yep.
It costs about £7 or £8, £9.
Yeah, is that Volts?
I mean, you can put batteries in them.
Is that the Volts one?
Yeah, it might be.
Yeah.
It's never let me down. I've used it. I've used it loads of time. They eat batteries, so you would put batteries if you're going to take them out. But I just wish they'd put some of the wires on the back of the Volcas as well.
Yeah.
Because when you do use a power supply, it's another wire on top.
Yep.
I could never do modular, I don't think, because even that gets on my nerves.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
But
no, I'm glad you brought it up.
Yeah, no, you get.
I'm glad you brought it up because I think it actually is something that I actually wanted to show you guys. So, so you can go to a place and get these little L-shaped adapters. So, just so it focuses for you guys. All right. And what it does, that's just literally going to take the vertical side of that and it pushes it out to the side. Do you see now? So that pushes it away to a horizontal connection. Now that may be an answer, so it still works, you know.
But you still got all the wires, the other wires on the top.
Yeah.
But,
so you can do
for
this.
what they are,
yeah.
You know what I mean? And the price they are, I think that's just me moaning
That's
about
right.
wires.
You can do the same with power. Okay. So one thing to remember about the Volcas is they have a 1.7 millimeter connector on them, which is, if anyone ever wants to know where Korg actually got that from, that's actually a Sony standard that Sony brought out, 1.7 millimeters. And you can get these adapters, which takes a standard DC, which I think is a 2-point-something millimeter connection, and it will convert that into the Volca size one, which is very handy because later on I'll show you why, because you might not have the Korg power supply. And once again, that's the same deal, Inky, where you've got that right angle, you can take the power off the back of the Volca. Now, unfortunately for me, when I ordered these ones, I forgot to read the fine print. The width of the barrel on this one's, I think, 5 millimeters, so it's a little bit too thick. They're the correct internal, but the width. So they'll be handy for another project, but that's all right. I have got the right size ones coming in. Actually, I can show you the difference.
So, can I ask you which is your favourite, Rans?
So you can see the correct width of the back. You can see just slightly different. The one on the left is too thick than the one on the right. So one's about 5.5 millimeters wide and the other one's 4 millimeters wide. It's very subtle, but you won't be able to actually get that into your Volca. That won't plug in. It's literally too thick. It kind of sits on top there. That doesn't do much. Whereas that one, it just goes straight in. So be careful when you're buying 1.7 millimeters. So Inky, what was your question? Sorry.
Which is your favourite Volca?
Yeah, and that is like the main question for today's theme show. So I reckon it's a great question. I think you know what my favourite Volca is. You probably only just have to have a look at my channel, and the most videos that I've got on Volcas is Volca FM. So I like it the most because I think it's without that guy from Reddit who did the unofficial firmware for it, Pagan is his name. It probably, even still without that, it still would be my favorite because it's the only Volca that's got an arpeggiator on it, and I love things with arpeggiators on them, and it just makes playing them so much fun. So it's got a sequencer and an arpeggiator, and it's a 3-voice digital synth. You can put DX7 patches on it. I mean, really, it's Like, it's a no-brainer. That should
It's
be
great to tweak live.
Yeah, it should be the
because
go-to
it's got the
Volca.
octave. It's got the octave slider on it, and if you're using the ARP and you put it through a delay, you can change the ARP as well at the same time, and it's got some lovely sounds when you start messing around with it like that.
Yeah, and then you can start plugging it via MIDI into your DAW, and you can load up Dext, and you can transfer patches across, and there's a billion DX7 patches out there. And if you've got the latest firmware, and if you're watching the stream and you're thinking to yourself, what is he talking about? Unofficial firmware? What? Don't leave the stream, finish watching this show, but after the show, go and check out my channel. There's videos on the firmware. You can download it off my website. It's all free. It's user beware though, but because it's unofficial, Korg won't support you. But it fixes a few things that Korg never fixed, like for example the keyboard velocity, which is amazing. Once that fixed it, like now you're being able to play bass sounds with velocity, and it's so good. Yes, you could get the retro kits cable, which I've got down here. That's another way of fixing it. You get one of these. I'll just show you on the other camera actually. So that's another way to fix the velocity. It's the Retro Kits RK002 cable. And you can just use that. I've shown that before on the stream. Got an arpeggiator built into that cable at the moment. So yeah, Volca FM's my favorite, and Inky, you've pretty much nailed it on the head why. You know, the ARP, the playability, the tweakability, it's pretty cool. Okay, well, what about you? What's your favorite, Inky? Same?
Ooh. I think it's the keys, which ironically, I hate about it. But then if you put it again and start manipulating it live, it comes alive. It's one of the easiest synths I've got that you can actually just play about with live, and it'll all work out.
Yeah, it's a love-hate one, isn't it? The keys.
Yeah, I was going to sell it and everything.
Yeah, it's a tumultuous relationship. I've got the keys hooked up right now, so that's the keys there, and it's playing a fifth, right? I've also got a bit of effects. Sorry, if you don't like effects, bad luck.
I tell you what you can do with the Volca keys.
Yep.
Is you can get a MIDI controller, and you can map it to the you know, the big knob that says whether it's in fifths or mono, poly.
Yep.
Yeah, you can map a knob to that.
Yeah.
A smooth knob, and you can be playing this sequence and mess around with that as well.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a cool thing to do.
Yeah, it's nice that Korg
just smooth what goes between them.
Yeah, it's nice that they mapped it to MIDI, that knob. But yeah, I definitely think that the keys is a good one. I think it's a keeper. There's a few things I don't like about it. Like, I think the envelope on it is a bit lacking. It could be, it could have longer release for a start, and yeah, so that side of it's a bit annoying. Also, you do run into the limitations of it being paraphonic as well, which can be annoying. So you have to learn how to play paraphonically, but otherwise that can actually also be a good thing too, so depending on the type of sound you want. But yeah, there is one guy that is quite regular on our channel, comes on the show, who absolutely loves the Volca keys, and he puts it in just about every single one of his songs, and you guys would know him as Berg. He puts the Volca keys in everything, so he loves it, and he also puts the Volca bass in as well. He's actually got 2 Volca basses, so there you go. Which is a good segue to the next Volca, isn't it? Volca bass. And these are the older ones, aren't they? So what I love about the Volca bass is you've actually got 3, it's like a 3-part bass synth. So you can actually have 3 different bass sounds, or you can have them merged together and get a fatter sort of bass sound. I think when they first released it though, and they marketed it at kind of like that, almost like a 303 sound. I don't think it really gets there. So don't go getting a Volca bass thinking to yourself, oh, I'm going to get a 303 sound out of it. It's not. It's not. You could probably get it with some extra bits of gear. You could get close, but yeah, it's.
I don't. I've tried to make that thing sound like a 303, and it just doesn't.
Doesn't.
But it is its own great thing. Just that sequencer of those 3 parts. You can get some mental stuff on there, can't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just with a vocal bass, you can just go a bit mental. It's brilliant.
All right, that's the Volca bass right now. Nothing else playing. I don't know if you guys recognize that, but that's multi-track suggestion by Vangelis. So that is just the Volca bass. You heard there was 2 different tones playing on there, and like Inky said, you can sequence those separately, which is it's actually really, really cool. So you know, when you think about you're actually bringing all these together, they start to complement each other, don't they? So you know, it's a, you know, this, when you're looking at this view that I've got here, this is just one of those, you can see my hands there. This is just one of those little monitor stands that you get from the stationery shops that it's sitting on. That's about the size of a laptop stand type thing. It's just, they're so tiny, and they fit, you know, they fit in a drawer. They're just really handy in that sense. Now, let's talk a little bit about that, because Inky, I think it's a good segue, and Chob also, I think it's maybe for you, it's a good segue to talk about portability, right? Which is why these things are what they are. And this is a Volca sample. Okay. Now, Inky talked before about why she doesn't use batteries on these. For a start, it's an absolute pain to get them open, but that's why probably isn't a good idea to use batteries on them. So they take 6 AA's. So that can be quite expensive. The average AA, decent size, would be about 50 cents US for a decent one, not a cheap throwaway 5-minute jogger. That can be quite expensive. So how do we get a Volca to be portable and not being chewing through AA's? Well, you can always use rechargeable AA's, of course. So that's obviously an option. You know, they're expensive to buy at first, but they will slowly pay dividends over time. And the other one you could do is you could do one of these things, little mobile battery bank, right? And I've shown this before. This is just a, well, this is actually a laptop power thing, so it's got a fair bit of juice in it. But you, what's a better view for you guys? If you plug one of these cables in, this is where I'm going to start to get a bit fancy, right? So this is because these things don't have, well, this one does have DC, but it doesn't do 9 volts, it does 12 volts, so don't worry about that. A lot of these things don't have DC connections on it, they have USB connections, but you can get a USB to 9 volt DC converter, which has a standard DC connector on it, and then you just get an adapter to transform that into the 1.7 millimeter. That's why I mentioned it before, people. See, everything ties in, and that will power, if I turn it on, you can see that's powered the Volca modular. See, completely portable. Go down to the park. Now this is a bit overkill. You don't need anything this big, right? But out of all the Volcas, the Volca modular is probably the most hungry in terms of how much power it draws. And you guys are going to be quite impressed with how little power this draws. Now this is where I'm going to get a little bit technical, guys, so I do apologize for those who don't really understand a little bit about electronics. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you this little device that you can get. This is actually very handy if you're a musician, because you may want to know how much power a lot of those USB powered devices that you're plugging into take. So we can actually turn this on. There we go. And I don't want the light reflecting off of it. There we go. so you can see there. Yeah, got to turn this on. Right, there we go. You can see that it's drawing 0.375 amps. So it's not even 1 amp, not even half an amp, right? That's the most power hungry out of all the Volcas, the modular. Most of the other ones will only draw about 200 milliamps or 0.2 amps. Okay, so that's pretty handy to know, because you can just do a bit of basic maths, guys. I know everyone loves maths, but it's just addition. You did that before you even got to high school. Come on, it's not too bad. So if you've got a power supply or you've got a battery unit and it says it's got 2 amps, or 2A on it, and you've got 10 Volcas and they're not the Volca modular. You might have keys, bass, FM, kick, sample, beats. You got 10 of them. You could probably run them all off a 2 amp little battery unit. Okay, so that's why this information is important, because you can work out how much power these things draw. Now, the other thing too is Korg actually sell a proper power supply for the Volcas too, which is called the KA350, and they sell the KA350 for everything. It's for the mini log, the monologue, the Electribes, just about, even the Arp Odyssey had it. Just about all their stuff has it. Now, when you buy a Volca, you don't get the power supply. It doesn't come with it. It's an extra thing you have to buy from Korg. But just so you know, when you power the, for example, as another option, you can buy a Volca Mix, and you power that with that Korg power supply. It gives you 3 extra power outlets to power, and you can see there I'm powering 3 Volcas from the Volca Mix. So you can see, I'm only showing you that because it gives you the freedom to now say, well, if Korg are allowing me to do it with 3 Volcas on a Volca Mix, so technically it's 4 Volcas, isn't it? Because you're powering the Volca Mix as well, off a 1.7 amp power supply, then I should be able to power, at least 5 or 6 off a 2 amp power supply. So there you go. You know you're pretty safe with this. Yep.
That's why the power pack is important in your setup, because the mixer doesn't have batteries, does it?
The mixer doesn't have batteries.
To make the mixer portable, you would use that power pack. The
one that I showed. Yeah, absolutely.
Really?
Yeah. So I know a lot of people who are watching this thinking to yourself, what has this got to do with Volcas? This is actually fundamental. If you're working out your setup, like Inky was saying, she doesn't like 3.5mm connectors. That could be, something that she needs to get adapters for and turn them into, 1/4-inch connectors. There's all these things that you have to think about when you're actually setting your Volcas up, because you might have a standard mixer and it's all got 1/4-inch, connectors throughout it. So you're going to have to buy extra cables. The powering of them. Now, one thing I will tell you guys about powering multiple Volcas, and that is ground loop noise. Be very, very careful. If you've got multiple Volcas plugged in and you don't have those, those isolator things on the audio side, you will get ground loop noise on Volcas. So go out to your local electronics store. They're only about $5, aren't they, those isolators? They're just a 3.5mm plug, and it's got like the coil in the middle. Just buy them, and that usually gets rid of your ground loop noise. Another way to get around it is to use isolated power. That's more expensive. Now, if you're recording a Volca in a studio, you may want to have isolated power, because then you're not going to have any impedance, no noise at all, and that's going to be really important, because you might want to have the cleanest sound possible, right? So all of this stuff is all food for thought, and it might not affect you personally, but you take it into consideration anyway. Even just looking at that little setup there, sorry Inky, I didn't mean to do you then, where there's just 4 Volcas connected, that might be what most people think is a good sort of number of Volcas. I could work with 3 or 4 Volcas. That might be cool, because I can't see myself getting a kick, or I can't see myself getting a modular, or I don't really need the sample because I've got a sampler already. Do you know what I mean? Like you're kind of thinking to yourself, well, what have I already got? Why do I need it? what does my DAW give me that these don't? Things like that. So these are all questions. All right, let's. Am I tracking all right, guys? So have you got questions so far? I thought we'd jump to the chatties. Okay, we'll do that. All right. All right. So we've got. Yeah, great question. Now, okay. So we've talked about powering them. We've talked about connecting them up. We've talked about. We will talk a little bit about each Volca and some of their uniqueness. We'll get to that. Don't worry. But I think the next question is modding them. Can you mod them? Well, I haven't physically modded any of my Volcas yet, but the one that is the most common physical mod, that is this one, the Volca Beats, and the physical mod that a lot of people did on this is the snare. And you can actually take this whole thing apart, and I think you put a capacitor in, it's a bit of soldering, so it'll scare a lot of people, but you can do it. And the other mod that you can do physically to them is a lot of the Volcas actually have a MIDI out. Now, I don't know if I would ever use it because I'm not a massive fan of the sequences on them, but some people love it. So you could put a MIDI out on there, or you could just drill 3.5mm TRS type MIDI connection on there as well. It's another option.
It's useful if you want to daisy chain a few of them, though, isn't it? If you've got another sequencer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because otherwise you've got to get those MIDI splitter cables, which, again...
Yeah. Or you have to do what I just did, and I had to do this. I'd use one of these to plug 3 Volcas in. Yeah, so but... That's pain.
So my one of them is powered, so that means that they're not portable. Yeah. So I had to find a way to get around that.
I think... personally, I reckon that Korg should have made the Volcas with the TRS MIDI connections on them. I reckon that would have been... Because everything else is TRS, pretty much, or TRRS in some cases. But, if you look at the Volca modular, it doesn't have any MIDI on it. Okay? So, that would have been handy to have maybe one more, TRS instead of a big round massive DIN cable, because it does the same thing, just takes up less space. But anyway, that's just a little bugbear of mine. Okay, chatties, CV connection. Yeah, so that's another good question. CV connection. So the Volcas, apart from the modular, so we're not talking about the modular here. So this is just all the other Volcas. You actually don't need MIDI at all with these. You can take all the MIDI cables out and you can just use them standalone, and then you use these sync in and out connectors, and they just take a mono, is it a stereo or mono? I forget now. I think it's stereo, TRS cable. Yeah, I don't think it's the gold one though. But anyway, they take a cable similar to that, and you can sync in and out between them. Now, the sync itself is actually just a square wave. So for those who like playing along in Eurorack land, you may actually even want to play with that square wave as well. But anyway, they will all sync to each other. And because it's using control voltage sync, it's typically not really control voltage, it's more just a square wave. They are very tight in timing, very, very tight. So this is without using MIDI. And I actually find that one of the good things about it, the Volcas, if you're using all the syncs, very, very tight, and it's awesome. So yeah, a lot of people forget that. Now, if you've got, just keeping an eye on the chatties because there's lots of good suggestions and stuff here. If you've got stuff like, for example, the key step or the beat step. So there's other products that Korg don't make. So this is a key step. This is my older one. And on the back of that, you can see, it's not going to show it, is it? I'll do it above us. Here we go. It's upside down, but you can see the sync. See that? The sync in and out. That's actually for the Volcas. You can go into the firmware of those, of the Arturia thing, and change that, but by default it's set to Korg. And so you can actually use your key step or your beat step to sync as well, so you don't have to use MIDI DIN. So Inky, that actually solves that whole MIDI issue in a sense, doesn't it?
Yes, yeah, but I'm controlling mine with a circuit, so I've got the keys and FM and a circuit and a pedal after.
Doesn't the circuit
So I need them.
Doesn't the circuit have a thing on the back for sync?
I just use a MIDI cable. It splits the signal into two. Yeah, it's not a problem. The base station has a sync on it. You can use directly with it, but the circuit you have to use MIDI.
Yeah.
But I think they're great little machines for when they came out. I mean, I don't think MIDI was really standard. MIDI was out when they came out.
Oh, the MIDI jacks, yeah, the CRS ones, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when those first Volcas came out, even coming out on new products yet, were they?
No, they weren't. So you're right.
So, but I think for the time, I think the Volcas are probably responsible for most people getting into who've got into sort of hardware jams over the last couple of years. That
Yeah.
and say the circuit. I think for newcomers, they're the things that have led us into this path, aren't they?
I reckon. And I mean, for me, it was probably a bit more than that, but yeah, for a lot of people it was. So this is the back of the circuit mono station. I should turn it around. And you can see the clock out and in on that. So you can actually use that to connect directly to Volca Sync as well. So I can't remember it because I haven't got my circuit next to me. It's in the cupboard, but I'm pretty sure the circuit's got the same thing on the back, doesn't it?
No. It's just got MIDI in and out.
It's just got MIDI. Okay, cool. All right. So there you go. Easy peasy. Now I've got to go put this back. Inky, I'm going to just put you up there. Actually, no, Chop. Any while I'm putting this back, any comments so far?
No, I mean, again, I'm not being sold on them. I don't know why. I think it's simply that what they do doesn't really fit in with what I'm trying to do and go. And I went more down the semi-modular route when these were sort of being shoved onto the market. And I think because I committed in that direction to try and learn more about modular, that's why they didn't really appeal.
Yeah. Okay.
I think to be fair though, Pope, you've kind of skipped that level. You know, I think the Volcas are appealing because they're quite inexpensive. You can choose them, so they can be your own modular. But you're going into a far more serious type of synth and way of going. But the same thing really is you've got a little portable box that you can take out with lots of sound modules in. Just one's a lot more complex than the other. But I think they've really got a lot of people into all sorts of synths, including modular.
Yeah, I'd agree. Yeah. The other thing too is a lot of the guys in chat have been talking about all the possible Volcas that Korg could have made, and I did a video a few months ago with, and the video was just me compiling all the ideas that other people in the world have come up with, and it was pretty funny. So go check that out after this. You can see some of the crazy ideas, like for example the Casio VL1 as a Volca. There's so many ideas. Even Roland got in there as well. So one of the Volcas that was suggested as a joke ended up getting made was the Volca sample. So there you go. You can joke all you like. Sometimes some people are listening. So that's actually a true story. Someone joked about making a Volca sample, and Korg actually made one. They're nothing like what the joke looked like and what Korg made, but the functionality was kind of similar. So there you go. Now, while we're talking about other stuff, let's talk about some of the, some of the pros and cons. Now, you can see in the chat, there's some guys talking about, some of the benefits, like with the Volca modular. John Cuba's saying You know, some interesting things about, you know, what you can do with that as an alternative to MIDI. Other people are using different types of sequences, not the Volca sequence. And I know the most common one that most people use with a Volca is the Korg XQ1. I don't know why, but it seems to be a fairly similar sort of size, maybe. I've got one in the cupboard. So there's that. A lot of people do buy the SQ1 because of the MIDI / CV connectivity on it. So yeah, let's talk about some of the pros with some of the Volcas. Let's keep it positive. All right, okay. What do you want to start with first? We'll just reiterate what we said about the FM. Okay, so the FM has the benefits with the FM is that it's digital. It can load the DX7 patches. It's very, very playable. It's 3 voices, which is probably a slight limitation, but I think most people get around it. It has a built-in arpeggiator, which is awesome. Now that arpeggiator can go really, really fast. I've actually got a video of it, me making it go extremely fast. If you take a MIDI clock in and you put the MIDI clock up as high as you can, and then you turn the ARP up to its full time division, I think 130 seconds or 1/64, so whatever it was, this thing is like insane. It can go really quick and it doesn't crash or anything. It's pretty solid. Inky mentioned,
you put it through, if you do that kind of thing and put it through a delay, I mean, you get some wicked results.
Really
I love that.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, beautiful. Yeah. Mucking around with the octave slider, the transpose, that's really cool fun in live performances. And obviously you've got a velocity slider, which was what Korg intended it to be for, but you can actually put firmware on or get a retro kits cable and make that part of your keyboard feature, or you can just play with it there. I also love mucking around with the algorithms as well. It's cool fun just to get different sounds, slightly adjusting them as you go. So for me, that's why the Volca FM is good. Should we just go straight on to the next one? Yeah, why not?
Yeah. I was going to say, go on, sell me the modular. I'm kind of interested in what that can do.
Okay. Well, I think straight off the bat, the biggest thing that this has got, why I love this, is because it gives me a Buchla sound. Not a perfect, it's not a Buchla clone or anything like that, right? But it gives me that sound. It's got a similar sort of synthesis design to it. So it's West Coast. It's different to Make Noise, O-Coast. It's different again. And you can muck around with these little wire patch points. I'll go and grab them in a sec when someone's talking. And I'll show you how they
those
work.
really tiny little wee ones.
Yeah, like a little electronics project for breadboard.
How have you found them?
You wouldn't want to go wiggling this around; it'll probably fall out. But I find it fine. Don't forget too, you can CV into this as well. And when you CV into it, it's actually quite intuitive. You can actually see that they've got little lines next to everything. So your CV, it says, right, if I'm connecting CV, I've got these 2 patch points from there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll find that it's got dark color and light color, so dark is in and out. Do you know what I mean? So you've got that. It's quite intuitive. You get to learn it pretty quick, and it does have limitations. The other thing cool is it has a really, really nice reverb on it. That's actually brilliant. That reverb.
Built-in reverb.
It's stereo. It's really ambient. Really ambient. It does micro tuning as well. And there's some extra features in the sequencer that some of the other Volcas don't have. Off the top of my head, I can't think of what it was. The scales, the micro tuning, I think, is probably what it, and the randomizing. There's some extra features anyway in the sequencer. Now, if you're into Volcas, you understand what that means. But if you're not, then it's like, whatever. But yeah, I mean, for me, analog as well. So that to me is a really, really good Volca. A little bit, I think they're a little bit more pricey, if I remember rightly too. I think there might be like an extra £20 or something, £30 or something.
Oh, right.
So, because I believe they've really packed the electronics into them. There's some videos of guys who have pulled that apart on YouTube. You can check it out if you're interested in that sort of stuff. Okay, I don't know if I've sold it to you, but I mean, I can play it if you want. If that's
That'd be nice to hear it.
Now I don't have the patches with me though. Oops. So
Well, don't worry too much.
okay, let's get that out. Sorry guys, making noises. And I don't have MIDI, so that's fine. Okay, so let's turn it on. Well, let's just play what's on here. Well, that's not very exciting, is it?
It's either effects or just its own effects.
That's its own effects. Oh, hang on, no, there is effects. Sorry, you're right. Let me turn them off. There we go. Now, which is that plugged into? That is plugged into there. It's a bit quiet, isn't it? I mean, you can start mucking around with the two different filters. The other thing to remember too about it is it's semi-modular too, Chob. So if you don't plug anything in, it actually does have its own internal wiring. You just follow those lines. So it's kind of semi-modular in that sense. You can see it if I block the light away. Yeah, and sequence is good fun as well. Once you start mucking around with a sequencer, you hit function and you can do things like micro tuning. There's that reverb. Hear that? It's cool.
Yeah.
Now that's actually stereo. So if I was to take that out of the mono, I'll take it out of the mono, put in the stereo connection. There you go. Listen to that. It's actually a stereo reverb.
Yeah.
I mean, sonically, you could have a lot of fun with it, is kind of what I'm saying. And then you then put all the patching side of it to it. I probably haven't done a very good job of selling it, being put on the spot. But once you start patching it and you can then start getting into all the synthesis side of it, you really do learn a little bit about West Coast synthesis in it as well. So, in a way, it does stop you from being a noob. You know what I mean? Like if you're into if you think you might be into Buchla, a lot of people are scared of Buchla because they think it's going to be some wacky, sci-fi movie type sound. But I know you, Chob, you love that sci-fi movie stuff. So you can definitely get that. But you can patch ring mods into this, and you can do all the tricks with. It's got wiggles and it's got different functions. It's got a function generator on it. I don't know if you can see that. I might have to lift it up. So you can see the functions here. So it's got, probably have to zoom in. You can see where it says functions there.
Yeah.
And you've got all the different waveforms above it.
Oh yeah, I can see them.
Yeah. So it's got some cool nerdiness to it, which is, right up my alley. It's a real little muck around, tweaky sort of thing. Good introduction to West Coast synthesis. It's not purely West Coast. People are going to kill me for saying that, but it's got a beautiful sounding reverb, as you just heard, and it's stereo. So it outputs mono with the reverb off, but it outputs like it's split left to right. But with the reverb, it sort of bypasses it, and it's got proper stereo. So yeah, pretty cool. I actually do think that When did they release that? Last year, or the year before? I forget now. But I actually do think it's probably one of their better ones. Definitely. I don't know if Tatsuya Takahashi had anything to do with that particular one, because he kind of left before they released that one. So, yeah, who knows?
It sounds quite interesting.
You never know. Maybe Chop might be buying a Volca, guys.
Might do. Well, we'll see. The price is right.
Fair enough.
Can I mention Axel Soft's comment?
Yeah.
His wife's just asked, why has he got 6 times the stylophones? So I think that's quite a good comment from a non-musician. At least you kind of knows what they are.
It's like my wife saying, you don't need another piano, do you? Because there's a piano. It's like...
How many pianos do you need?
How many pianos do you need? Yeah, I think it's the same comment. Don't worry, Axel, we feel your pain, mate. You know what you need to do?
We've all suffered that one.
She loves flowers and probably some sort of chocolate or bottles of wine, or I don't know what she drinks. Maybe she doesn't drink wine. I don't know. But that always tends to work. Flowers and chocolate and wine. That usually shuts them up. Sorry, Inky. Inky.
No.
Inky, be on our side.
I could have the same problem. Yeah. I just give him football or I mean.
Yeah.
Why don't you go out for a bit? Why don't you go out with your mates? That would be my Yeah. You deserve it. Go down to the pub. Here's some money. Yeah.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
I just get
take
asked.
delivery of the new item.
Yeah.
Okay. Permanently, I'm told I'm coming up to the room with wires, and that's it.
The room with wires.
But that's kind of true, though.
There's not that many wires.
Yeah. It's very true. It's very true. I mean, that's.
I think that
unpatched from what it was last week.
Yeah, true.
But yes, it is full of wires.
Yes.
I think there will be more wires too.
If you get the Volca modular, it's going to look like a little electronics project. Once you put those little tiny little wires.
You should see the garage where I'm attempting to build a modular synth from scratch.
Ooh.
With very little to no knowledge. That's a project that I've yet to put online.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought, initially when I was getting into modular, I was looking around, and of course, the first thing you discover is how expensive it is. I mean, you look here at this bit here, if I can get me in, and that's nearly a year, best part of 800 quid, and that's it, that little section there, silvery bit, some maths.
Yep.
And there's a pluck and a disting Mark IV, I think. And that's it. And I thought, there must be another way. And I was just online, and I found people were doing it. And I thought, if they can do it, then maybe I can. I mean, Dad's an electrician anyway, so I've got a fallback. If all else fails, he'll sort me out. So I just started buying components and started building just to see what I could do. And, if I blow them up, I blow them up. As long as they blow me up, I'll be all right.
Yeah. Well, we can do it together, Chubb. So we can, the stuff that you've seen me show it on the show before, the stuff that I've bought.
Yeah.
I'm still
This is complete breadboard, absolute breadboard building.
Yep.
Just to see if I can.
Yeah,
I've managed to make some noises, and I'm still here.
Just keep it below 12 volts, and you should be fine, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was it. One of the little modules. Sorry.
Go, Inky.
Sorry, Inky, go.
No, go on. You go first.
Just saying that one of the little oscillator. Go on.
Make up your mind, guys. All right, now Inky's going to go, okay?
Screen, you go.
No, Inky's going to go. I'm going to put her on.
Mine's boring now.
No, go.
Right. So you know the Hardware Jams group that I invited you to? There's this guy, I don't want to get his name wrong.
Yeah.
Duento Moore? I think that's how you pronounce it. And he's the guy that made his modular out of cans. I don't know if you saw it on Sonic State. Yeah. So, I mean, I've had a few conversations with him because I'm just in awe of that. Because that is when I get a bit technical.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of Yorkshire tea tins that I was seriously going to turn into little modules, into little synths.
Yes.
Yeah, do
If you
it.
look, a couple of vids ago, I had a kind of mock-up. It was a slight tongue-in-cheek. To the side of the grandmother here, there was a little Yorkshire tea box with some knobs on top, and I thought, well, why not? It doesn't matter what the housing is, and I quite like Yorkshire tea, so why not?
Oh, yeah, you've got to. Yeah, that'd be brilliant.
Yeah. Well,
All right, I'm on it.
Chob, these are the little wires that I was telling you about. So they,
Yeah, that's them.
Yeah, so they just little go. They actually stick
And did
in.
they house quite nicely?
Yeah, that's got a bit of pull on it. It's not coming out, so
Okay.
I'm yanking that a fair bit. So I guess it'll probably wither with age, but yeah, you can get. You know, there's a massive amount they give you. They give you heaps
I mean,
of them.
if Inky's worried about 3.5, those are just going to be.
That's yeah. These
Yeah,
aren't.
no.
These aren't
No,
old.
I wouldn't.
These aren't old man friendly.
That's why.
No.
That's the reason I don't own it, because I really fancy it.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
It does sound and look nice. We'll
Okay.
see.
Let's keep going because there's a couple of other Volcas that are... Okay, so I've made my sort of point about the kick. We didn't do the keys, did we? Okay, so the keys we talked about briefly. How it's kind of out of shot here, isn't it? Yeah, I can't really move it. So it's kind of got different modes. Obviously, it's 3 voice, or you can do unison, and you can detune it. Got a bit of attack on that, haven't I? That's maximum release, by the way. So you hear me whinging about the EG on that before. That's pretty petty for a release. It's got a nice filter though. Is it the same as an MS-20? Similar? Sort of sounding filter. Now, one thing I've never been able to work out, and someone can tell me if I'm right or wrong here, is does this filter step? So is this filter actually electronic or is it digital? Listen to this. Can you hear that step? To me, there's definite stepping, and it's not Harmonix. I can hear stepping in. I don't know. It might be my ears, but that's something that I've always never really liked about it. Is the little bit of a step on the filter. It's got a ring mod and a fifth. There's the ring mod. Can sound a little bit like a game console now. You can imagine 2 guys kung fu fighting. So yeah, I mean that's the keys. I think the keys was the first one they ever brought out, wasn't it? Well, I think they brought kind of the keys, the bass, and the beats out at the same time. So it's like one of their original ones. Now it's definitely lacking in functionality, like the others. The newer ones have definitely got a lot more functionality in them. So obviously Korg have got better. But what they didn't do is they never upgraded the firmware on the older ones. And I don't know if it's because they can't or because they just decided not to. Well, we actually know that they can because the Volca FM got an unofficial update of the firmware. So, yeah.
Wasn't the keys the first that you could do motion sequencing on?
Yeah.
You know now everyone expects it.
Yeah.
I think the Volca keys was the first synth to have that, and everyone's like, "Wow, yeah," and yeah.
Yeah,
So
Korg
that was
kind
quite
of
a big thing.
I don't know if they invented it, but they definitely they made it more accessible to the average end user. So yeah, I do like the sound of the keys. I think it's a nice sounding Volca. And I've said before I like the sound of the bass as well. So I've shown you guys the bass before, so we don't need to go into that now. Sample. I don't know if I want to plug it in because it's just getting too hard for me to unplug and plug in. But let's just do a bit of pros and cons with the sample. Okay, let's get the elephant out of the room. This is not a sampler. This is a sample player. Okay, and these are just about a dime a dozen now these days. So when this first came out, there wasn't very many of these sort of devices out there, and now there's a lot more. There's quite a lot of devices out there that will play samples, but it's really I don't like the way you get samples on it. You have to use the sync in and out, and you have to use a software package on your phone or on your tablet to get it in and out. I think it's just really frustrating to use. Some people find it easy. I just find it just a pain. If all they had to do was put a USB connection on it and just made it like an accessible file, like they did with the OP1, I think it would have been a lot easier. But having said that, the positive side is actually really good sample player, and it's got some really cool things you can do with it, like pitching. You have to kind of treat it like an old late 80s type sampler, where if you record your sample in mono, if you've got a long sample, you can pitch it up so that it's a shorter time base, and then you can pitch it down once you're playing it on the Volca sample. So there's kind of tricks like that, because it does have memory limits, but they're kind of things like that, and I just think it really sounds good. It's got a cool little analog isolator circuit on it, which gives it bass and treble a bit of oomph. It has, once again, a nice reverb, and all these controls here with, mucking around with the samples, the start point, the end point, the speed, all that sort of stuff. You can do all that on the fly, and you can trigger samples here. Now, one of the things that when this thing first came out, it was very difficult to use it like a chromatic, like you couldn't play samples chromatically. But if you get the Retro Kits cable, which I keep talking to you guys about, if you get one of these, you put the algorithm on it for Volca Sample, you can play the samples like a sample synth. So you can load one sample up, and it will base on a MIDI channel, and it will play it chromatically. So that's actually really cool. And that might be just something that is a cheap way to get you to that, because those Retro Kit cables aren't that dear. They're only about £30. So yeah, I actually think the Volca sample is pretty good. So for me, it's probably a keeper. So anyone want a quick comment about that? I'm sweating here. It's like so humid.
I nearly bought one of those because you can automate all the levels, all the manipulations of the samples per step. You
can pan them, level them, pitch them, and there's
reverse them.
There's envelope on each of them as well. Reverse them, yep. You can change the start point as well. So it's pretty handy. And also you can fit is it 10 samples per part? So it's 10 parts. That's pretty decent. So it does have a bit of power behind it. It's just not very easy to get them on and get them off. But if you take your time and learn how to do it properly, you get over that sort of stuff. Some people don't like the interface, but anyway. I mentioned before the Volca Beats. Now, this is actually weird. So this Volca kind of sat doing nothing with me for a while, this one. But there's one thing that someone mentioned in like a video or a comment somewhere recently, which really pricked my ears up. Someone said to me that the Volca Beats is probably one of the first true analog 808 sounding drum machines that was not actually a Roland 808. You can actually get really close sounding 808 sounds out of this. Let's ignore the snare. Definitely ignore the snare in that comment, but the kick is where I'm sort of coming at it with. So you could definitely get the 808 sound. Now, having said that, there's two different camps with the 808 kick sound. There's the camp that remember listening to 808s that have been compressed and through distortion pedals and all sorts of stuff. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the raw kick sound that the 808 generated If you actually have a TR-808, you'll know exactly what I mean. So yeah, so in terms of the Volca beats, it is actually a true analog drum machine, which is actually pretty cool. And even still to this day, people have been releasing drum machines. It actually is pretty decent. So for me, it's a keeper. I do like the hats on it. And yeah, it's got starter as well, which is pretty cool. It's a motion sequence that Inky was talking about, and it's got this starter feature. And the starter feature you can control with these time and depth knobs here. And so you can really sort of glitch up your performance. If you're sort of someone like me and you don't really have small fingers, that may be a bit of a pain. So what would have been nice is some of the MIDI implementation to be better on this, but other than that, it's actually pretty good. What I wish Korg did when they brought this out is I wish they put the mini pop sounds on it. I wish they put the I can't remember what they call them. Is it Cassida? How do you pronounce that bloody name? Sorry, I've just completely had a memory blank. Anyway, for those who know what Korg mini pops are, it's an older, like 70s drum machine that was analog. And I think Korg had an opportunity to actually make this like the mini pops. Would have been great. It does have PCM samples on here too, Chob, so it's not just pure analog as well. So the snare, for example. But yeah, it's not bad. It also has part level, so you can actually change the level on each of the parts, which I think is pretty handy. So you've got kick, snare, tom, 2 different toms, hat, 2 different hats, clap, claves, a go-go, crash. So that's pretty decent. And you can pick these up so cheap used now. Just have a look on eBay. They're really, really cheap used. So yeah, there's some bonuses there. I think I've just about shown all of them. The only 2 that I haven't talked about are the ones that I don't have, and that's the new bass and the beat. Is it called beat or drum? Volca drum. And the only reason why both of them never really interested me is because I've already got a Volca bass, so the new bass didn't really I don't really need another bass machine, and I'm not like busting to get one of those YouTube sort of gimmick things. And the drum, well, I mean, how many drum machines do you need? I've got a sampler, and I've got a beat just in the Volca world. I've also got a kick as well, which I don't use. So I don't really need another drum machine. And I think that was digital too, wasn't it, the Volca drum? So, I don't know. For me, I didn't need it. So that's the only reason why I haven't got it. But yeah, if you're new to Volcas and you think to yourself, what's the best Volca drum machine? Well, you've got a choice, haven't you? You've got the sample, you've got the beat, the original beats, and you've got the drum. And technically you've got the kick as well. So, you've got quite a lot of options there. And they all do different things and do different things better or worse. It's up to you how you want to decide it. But yeah, someone may want to make a comment about those 2 Volcas that I don't have in the comments in the chat. But yeah, some people agree with me about the mini pops comment. So, Chob, do you remember the Korg mini pops?
Can't say I do.
Okay, so if I mention a song to you,
yeah,
Jean-Michel Jarre, Oxygen,
yeah,
Part 6.
Okay.
The one that had the sort of ocean and the birds tweeting right at the end of the album. The drum machine and that, that's Korg mini pops.
Yeah.
So you had a
okay.
Yeah, you had kind of two sounds out of that are kind of unique. You can actually produce them. In fact, I've actually reproduced it since. You remember when Novation brought out the firmware update Inky for the Base Station 2, and they enabled you to do repeating envelopes? You could actually like repeat envelopes from 1 repeat to 7. I think that's up to 7 is the maximum one. So you can actually get your Base Station 2 to sound like a Korg mini pops now because of that. Just a tiny little, like a little firmware improvement. Now you can turn your Base Station 2 into literally into an analog drum machine. And with the AFX mode, how you can play different patches per, yeah. That thing is just, yeah. That thing's turned into a drum machine. Pretty much. Just sample it, put it into your force.
That's one of the things I always looked on the original thing with that bass station with Nick Bat.
Yeah.
And he got it, Ableton changing patches on it.
Yep.
Like we do physically on the mono station, but he was doing it through Ableton.
Yeah.
And it was a drum machine. And I really only kind of really bought the Digitone thinking that I might get a bass station and do that.
Yep.
Because it's possible to do the same thing. Yeah. But I ended it with a mono station instead.
Yeah. Fair enough. Well, we're allowed to do that. Now, whilst I just really don't like forgetting the name of things, so I was just going to try and find the name of those sound effects that I really, really love out of that Korg Mini Pops. I don't know if I've got it in here. Mini Pops. Nah, can't find it. Ah, bugger. And you know what? It's going to come to... Oh, here we go. Korg Mini Pop 7. Oh, come on. It's one sound. All right. If I turn my MPC Live on, it'll come up. Someone will probably remind me in chat for sure. There's a sound effect. Oops. There's a sound effect that starts with a Q, a Kissalada or something like that. And there's another sound effect. It's two sound effects that are very unique to that drum machine that everyone should sample. Do you want me to demo the kick? Okay. All right. My most loved Volca. You guys like punishing me or something? No, it's not too bad. I'm not total hate. It's not like throw it against the wall. You know, I might do that though. If you pay me enough. All right, I'm gonna plug. Oh, we don't want that. I'm gonna plug that into mono because it's a mono output. And I need power, and I've got a power going there. Power. That one. Okay, cool. All right. Now, I don't really use this a lot, so it's going to be a bit shit. So now that I've said that, I don't care if you give me thumbs down. Here we go. Let's get some sounds. So that's the Volca keys as well. It is a nice sounding kick. I mean, you can drive it too. It's got tone adjustments on it. You can also play it chromatically as well. How do I do that? Okay, so I need to set the MIDI channel on this. To set the MIDI channel on your Volcas, here's a little lesson for you. Hold down memory, power it on. It's on channel 1, and we probably want it to be channel 3. So you hit 3, press record. That now sets your MIDI channel. Actually, no, I didn't want it to be MIDI channel 3, did I? Sorry, I wanted it to be MIDI channel 1. No. Oh yeah, that'll do. Leave it on 3. I'll just have to turn that off. Now, does this work? Here we go. So I can now play that chromatically. So it's, you know, it is a semi.
See that's where it comes into its own, like low bass.
Yeah, it can get really low. And there's also this pulse contour thing. This is what we all hate, all these cables everywhere. But you can see there's the pulse contour on level. I don't know if I'm doing anything wrong there, but it's got this Touch EX feature on it too, which is pretty cool. Motion sequence, it's got a roll as well, so you can do we function? I think we function. So that's, you know, there's some you know, playability features with this as well, which people might like. I'm not selling it to you. Sorry. But yeah,
It's got a nice kick, and the bass was nice. Quite a decent sound.
it's a bit of a one-trick pony though. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
you could definitely have something nice.
But what it does, it's very good at what it does. But I understand that's the reason I didn't get it. But that's the reason I wanted it. I wanted it because it's very good at what it does, but it doesn't do anything else, really.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
See, for me, you can get a kick out of the Volca beats, and then you can put an external drive filter circuit through that. You know, there's other ways that you can skin a cat, basically. So, you know, it really is kind of weird. And I've got a little sequence. Here we go. I'll turn that off. Now this sequence coming from Ableton, and I should be able to play the keys. Probably put a bit of attack on that, get it sort of pad sounding. So when you start putting them together, they can actually sound quite good together. I don't know. That's just three without any drums or anything going into it. That's kind of, you know, ambient-y sounding. So yeah, Volcas. I think we've probably done Volcas to death. Attack is not snappy enough for an impact kick. Yeah, I thought the attack on the Volca kick was not snappy enough as well. Once again, the envelopes on the Volcas are letting us down. Now there is an exception to that. The Volca modular has really good envelopes on it. So there you go. But anyway, yeah. I think we've pretty much done the Volcas to death. Now, I've really... Oh, Axel's given me the name of that sound, which is... I don't know how you pronounce it, but Quijada, which is Quijada. Quijada, I think it is, which is Spanish for jaw, apparently. Wow. Okay. So the mini pop sound that I like, it's called Quijada. There you go. And there's another one as well. One's kind of like a fish sound. I forget which one's which. But you go listen to that Oxygen Part 6 song. You'll know what I'm talking about. Jawbone to be exact, yeah. But yeah, JXH, yeah. It's like Quijada, yeah. So, cool. What do you guys think overall about Volcas? You know, in chat, let's get the chatties up. What do you guys kind of want to sort of make a big point about? Guiro is the other one. Chob. The other sound is called Guiro, Guiro. So they're the two ones to try and get yourself samples of if you can. So Mini Pop 7, Guiro, and Quijada. And you get, I can send them to you. I'll just send them to you.
Yeah. Fair enough.
I love collecting sample sounds. By the way, we've definitely done that comment from Ken, so we could probably get rid of that. Where is it? Why do they never ever show up? Oh, here it is. I can clear it. So yeah, what I wanted to grab off you guys in chat was your favorite Volca that you own or that you may want to own, and why. And just a quick comment from you guys in chat. There we go, got rid of Ken's comments. Cool. So let's wait about 10 seconds for that. So the Quijada is the fish sounding one. Do you remember those, Chob, do you remember those when we were in school, we had those wooden things that had the ribbed sort of surface, and you ran a stick across it and it kind of went like that? We called them fish because they were shaped like a fish, right? But apparently that's the Quijada. And that's the Guiro. Sorry, I should say that's the Guiro. But the Guiro in the Mini Pops has a very resonant-y sort of filtery sound to it. It's awesome. So very, very Korg sounding. Anyway, wouldn't it be nice if Volca made a Mini Pops? That's my challenge to Tats, who's working in Germany right now. Volca Stinger.
They may be listening.
Quick intro video audio. Yeah, maybe. I don't think Korg are into the video game. Roland are more into the video game. So Tweak is saying, I can't believe we haven't mentioned the Zoom MS70 CDR, which is that multi-effects pedal. We talk about Tweak, if you probably haven't been in our show for ages, we talk about that pedal.
Tweak.
Heaps.
Tweak.
Look at Inky right now.
This is for my modular setup. Not my modular, my Volca setup.
Yep.
Which
it's
is
the go-to
that
pedal. Yep. Go-to pedal.
Once you know about it, you'll see that it's on everybody's video. Everybody involved, who can't afford a Strymon or anything. A couple of them, really, because when you max it out, it'll only do one really good effect. So 2 of them. You really need 2 of them.
I think
they're cheap.
Either Axel's really, really knowledgeable, and he's just one of these people that just blurts out random facts, or he's Googling right now. We don't know. No one knows, Axel, if you're just really, really smart or you're just really good at Googling. Because he's just told me that Quijada is an idiophone percussion instrument made from the jawbone of a donkey, horse, or mule.
Yeah, he's definitely copied and pasted that out of Google.
I'm calling you out there, Axel. I think you Google that. We should do a quiz. We should do a quiz on here, and we can get around the no Googling easily. We can do it with a 10-second delay. I've worked out how to do it. What is an NTS1? Seriously fun for FX. NTS1. What's that? I'm having a memory blank. Detroit Microsound is recommending an NTS1. Axel's saying age equals wisdom. Nah, I'm calling you out on that one, buddy.
Yeah.
You can get offended if you want. I don't mind.
Honestly say that wisdom has not yet visited my brain box.
Yeah, neither one.
Isn't the NTS the little Korg thing?
Yeah, now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. That's a really good thing. That's proper good. Especially for Volcas, because it's mini jack.
Yeah. There you go. I probably haven't got myself into it because there's a whole bunch of other little, as you guys know, little mini electronic projects that I've been succumbed to with Eurorack. So I don't know, I might get myself into it. It just depends. I thought there was a bit of limitation to it, but people who are on the sort of more beginner level would probably love that sort of thing. So,
Well, Korg are taking that thing and the effects and making an effects box that you can build
yeah, seen that.
with guitar. Yeah, I'm interested in that, but I don't really understand how I order it or how it works yet. I'm waiting for someone to do a video on it, or how to actually get through the Korg website to order it.
Maybe we can get Tweak to come on the show when he's got his and he can tell us all about it. There you go. There's an invitation for you, Tweak, when you get yours. April. Okay, so we're looking at April for him. Wow, it's a long way away. Doesn't that annoy the crap out of us, hey? When people announce products and then it just takes months and months and months before we actually get them in our hands. Because it's kind of like, isn't it? It's kind of like this, the manufacturer shows their prototype or whatever it is. It always looks shiny and working perfectly. And then there's a massive delay, and then you get some elite YouTubers who get theirs. And then there's people like us who just have to wait months. Especially if you live in Australia. You have to wait even longer. Got to wait for the the bottle with the cork in it to float across the ocean. I don't know, but yeah. I'm always whinging about that. You know what I'm like. So yeah, so there was a few requests for Volcas, but no one's really told us what their favourite Volca is yet, unless I've missed it. I was keeping an eye on it, but yeah, tell us what your favourite Volca is in chat, and we'll flag you and we can talk about it briefly. And there's usually about a 7 to 10 second delay by the time I say something. Apparently there's bad video recordings out there on the NTS so far. Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna stick up for YouTubers. Sometimes it's really, really hard to video stuff. Like, especially if you're not being paid to do it by some massive company. If you're just doing it because you want to show, you might not have the gear, you might not have the lighting, you might not have the lenses, you might not have the camera. So yeah, don't knock people too much. As long as the general gist of stuff is being shown, I think you should always give them a thumbs up for giving you some free content to enjoy that takes you away from commercial rubbish on a daily basis. There you go. There's my little plug for all the YouTubers out there. Most of us here are YouTubers, so no one would disagree with me. Volca modular in combination with mutable instruments ears and a straw. Okay. John Cuba, you need to tell us what do you mean by a straw. Is that a modular thing, or is that literally a straw that you use to drink out of your can of soda? Tell us about what the straw business is. I know what ears is. Everyone who's got mutable instruments. Yeah, speaking of mutable instruments, let me flag this one for John Cuba. And I'll put it on the little thing here. So there's his comment there, guys. Hopefully it turns up below me. Boom. Come on, do it. There you go. So he did say straw and a straw. Speaking of mutable instruments, I don't know if you heard the news, but Emily, the founder or owner or what do you want to call her, just make sure you call her something nice because she's awesome. She's done a new firmware for one of her modules, and the name escapes me. Let me just quickly bring that back up, and while we're waiting for John Cuba to tell us, just give a look to the Korg YouTube website. Okay, he's not going to tell us. Come on, we can't look at Korg's website. We're streaming. Just tell us. Mutable Instruments is back at work and releases Marble's Super Lock firmware. There you go. So if you're into Eurorack, so Emily Gillet from Mutable Instruments, she's apparently there's been very little information for a long time from her. I don't know, we don't know why, but she's now released a new firmware for the Marbles module, which is a random sampler, and that one's always perked my ears. I don't know, does that, have you seen the Marble sampler, Chop?
I've seen it, but I've never had the luck to get my hands on one.
Yeah.
But it is something, for expanding what's going on over there. It is one of the modules I've been kind of thinking about.
So they've got this thing called a deja vu knob on it. I'll see if I can get a photo that we can bring up while we're talking about it, right? While I'm doing that, trying to do a million things at once. I'm really good at that. Okay, here we go. So deja vu knob. I'll just put it over the front of your face. There we go. So it's actually perfect. Look at that. So you can see the deja vu knob up there. And apparently what that does is it gives you subtle variations or permutations in the melody by playing with that, by using a super lock feature. So basically you're locking the sample and then you're kind of tweaking it with the deja vu knob. I would imagine that would be a time-based tweak, right? Time as in like moving towards the start or towards the end, if that makes sense. Because you can see the T and the X. To me that kind of...
It would suggest that.
And apparently the rhythm remains constant while you're doing that. So it's, that's going to be really, really cool. There is videos on Marbles, but I don't think there's any videos out yet on her new firmware. So I thought that would be interesting for people in the Eurorack world. While we're speaking of that. Anyway, so John Cuba, has he given us an answer yet? Let's see. No, he's being very coy. Okay. All right, so John Cuba, you have to now do your own YouTube video showing us how you use your Volca modular with a straw and your Eurorack module.
Ears and a straw.
Ears and a straw. Here we go, he's telling us now. Okay. First, connect the module with ears. Second, you need a glass of water. Third, place a glass of water on the contact microphone, and then it stopped. The ... Okay, I think we're getting the idea. So, are you vibrating water? Is that what you're doing? Wow, that'd be interesting. I definitely want to know more about this. This sounds pretty cool. I love this sort of stuff. So do share it with us. Maybe John Cuba, you can come on and show us, or you can do a video and we can show you video. It's up to you, whatever you feel. I think that's definitely something that we can definitely share with everyone. Blowing bubbles in the water. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Yeah, Wagyu says blowing bubbles in the water could be it. Imagine that through like an Eventide black hole, bubbles slowed down in a sampler. Oh, there you go. Yeah, okay, yeah. So he did say blow bubbles in the straw to get wonderful leaps and notes. There you go. Cool. So what is the...
That's really cool.
What is the ears doing though? Because I'm not a massive knowledgeable person when it comes to ears. Without me looking up ears, what's the ears doing that makes that? Is it like a sampler, is it? Oh no, it's just a contact microphone. Okay, cool. Okay, so for those who don't know what musical instrument ears is, it's a contact microphone. And so that's what he's getting the sound of the water from. Got it, right. Okay, awesome. Now that means then that you should definitely be interested in getting the sampler from them. The now that it's got the super lock feature, so you can put the contact microphone, sample that using the super lock feature while you're blowing bubbles with straw. We'll just work it all out for you. That's pretty cool, actually. I like that. I like you guys coming up with cool ideas. All right, cool. I was actually going to do a video where I was just going to walk around my neighborhood and just take my Zoom recorder with me. I did some recordings the other day with a thunderstorm, and we all love to record thunderclaps, because that's down beautiful stereo, trickling away through the neighborhood. But I actually was recording rain dropping on the side of the window, metal window ledges, aluminium windows, and you get this sort of real like percussive sound. So I was going to do a video of me just walking around my neighborhood and just bashing things with sticks and all sorts of stuff and just getting different sounds and then bringing it back into the studio here and putting them onto the MPC and then seeing what sort of track I could make with it, whether it would be percussive or whether it would be, chromatic, and just, completely non-synthesis related, just complete sample based. What do you think, Inky?
I did that for a competition.
Yeah.
And I think the best one was the squeaky door becoming a flute.
Squeaky door becoming a flute? Wow.
Yeah. Once you
Fantastic.
pitched it up and you put,
Yeah, because because it would be a lower waveform, wouldn't it, as it squeaks? Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, you do it really slowly and then you pitch it up.
Yeah.
But the best one is jumping on a metal grid with a big rock on it and the grid's not quite on properly. That's the best kick drum I've ever heard.
Right. My
Oh, that's cool.
my laundry sink is a pretty good kick drum. I tend to punch out a few tapping beats in the laundry while I'm doing laundry stuff. And bathtubs are good as well. When you don't have water in them, of course. So when you've got an empty bathtub and you go sort of from the top rim of your bathtub, if you sort of go about a third down and just pat it with the palm, just pat it and you'll get a real thumping bass sound. And you can try that. There you go, a couple of tips. Some banging techno, please. No banging techno. Ambient. Chill out, guys. Just banging techno stuff. No, I'm just joking. Throwing synths at the screen now. All right, so in terms of, I think Volcas, I think we're done. What do you think, guys? You all happy?
Yeah, I think yep. Not quite sold me on the modular, but who knows?
Yeah.
That's me worry.
Yeah.
Tiny little leaves.
It ain't that bad. They actually are pretty spaced out on there, to be honest. The first time I got it, I was kind of like thinking, oh no, it's not a breadboard project, but nah, it's not that bad. It's no different. You know when you got your modular, it's no different than you start patching stuff, and you kind of forget what. By the time you've done patching, and then you stand back and look at it, and you go, oh my god, this is a spaghetti mess, But you actually know exactly what it does. It's kind of that sort of thing going on. So don't worry about it. It's that sort of organic process of connecting the wires.
My worry is it just becomes another device that I've got that I have yet to get around to using. I'm gonna show you something now.
Okay.
About 6 months ago, I bought this.
Here we go. Whoa. Oh yes.
Whoa.
Still in the box.
Micro Freak.
Well, take it out of the box.
I did get it out, and I can't compete with Darren's unboxing of the other week. I did take it out, and I tried it, but I don't know what it was. It was great sounding. The keyboard's fine, but I just again couldn't seem to make it work with anything.
Yep.
It always sat there as an extra instrument, not blending in.
A standalone.
But we'll see. Yeah.
I think you've hit a good point there. It's not always about the instrument. It's about whether the instruments fit in with your instruments as a sound whole. So you could buy a brilliant synth. It could be really expensive, but if it doesn't fit in with what you're trying to create, it's useless. So I can see exactly with Pope's setup exactly what he's saying.
It
I'll
just
buy
became
cheap,
an
Pope.
expensive doorstop.
But can I digress?
I have considered selling it.
If you have
I'll be in touch.
If you have a synth, and that synth may well be something like a Volca kick, that just doesn't, it just butts your head, or other parts of your body. You may just want to sample that, and then sell it. And so you've got your samples.
Yeah, good point.
Get rid of it, and then at least you've got a little bit of it to keep. You won't be able to sample it all, but you've got a little bit of it to keep, and then you can say bye bye.
It is-
Something else.
It's a
Sorry.
it's a really great point if you actually get round to it. Because I thought that about the Digitone. I thought I'll sample some nice basses and then I'll sell it. And I've sampled exactly none. Because it's one of those things, isn't it? I could sample that, or I could make some music, which is the reason we kind of all got this hardware, is because we don't really like that work. So, nice idea, and in reality, never really happens. Not in the studio.
Yeah.
I also
you were
have
saying?
a concern, shall we say, that over the years I have sold lots of gear, bought it, used it, sold it. And practically everything that's a classic now is what I've sold. And I gave it away. I sold it for I sold a mini Moog for 50 quid. Can you believe that?
Dear me.
Oh,
It wasn't working. It needed serious repairing. But at the time, they were well out of favour. And what did I replace it with? Oh, it's a Poly 6. I got a Poly 6.
Well, that's not too bad.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's not too bad. That's not like you sold it for a Korg M1 or something.
No, that's in the still.
Because you can just have them as VSTs now, and they sound exactly the same.
Practically everything is.
Yeah, anything that's digital can be a VST. Yeah, no, I get it. I probably won't sample the Volca kick. The Volca kick and the Korg radius will definitely be disappearing out of my studio. And I don't feel anything. You know when it's the right time to sell something where you just don't feel any connection to it at all. You're like, bye, see ya. Don't worry about it. Don't hold on to it. In fact, I've just got to get off my butt and sell it. That's probably my biggest problem. It's not why haven't I sold it. It's just get off your butt and sell it. Take photos of it, chuck it on eBay or wherever you want to chuck it. Yeah. So. Haven't really been keeping an eye on chat. Sorry, guys. It's been quite busy for me tonight, trying to sort of show the Volcas, talk to you guys, run the production of the stream. I do apologise if I've missed any of your comments, but I'm definitely going to... One thing I should tell you guys, when I do these shows, it's actually quite surreal when you're actually making them. You don't realise half the stuff that goes on until you go back and watch it. And so you rewatch the whole show. And you find out some really cool comments have flown by and you've missed them, or, you know, it's whatever's happened. But I do think having you guys here in the chat is really, really cool. And these guys here on the screen have all been in the chat, so they know what it's like. So it's a cool thing to be there. Do you know there's a lot of people that don't actually watch the stream live? So they'll go watch it on the replay and they miss out on the fun you guys are having in the chat. So that to me is kind of one of the coolest things about the show is that you get to chat with your buddies that you regularly chat with. Some of you guys, you watch, you know, various synth guys. I see you around on some of the other shows that you see. So that's fine, you know, that's cool. But the cool thing about it is you get to regularly talk to each other, which I think is a cool thing. And those who have to rewatch the replay, they don't get to do that. And also they don't get to see your chat either. Yeah.
I love it when I'm not actually on here and I just get to be in the chat. That's the best fun.
Yeah.
No offense, like runs, but you know what I mean. It is.
I don't get to do the chat. Yeah, I would love to do the chat.
Yeah.
Maybe clone me and I can be in chat at the same time. That'd be cool. I do actually enjoy jumping into chat. And I've noticed that even Dazza, who's probably 3 a.m. over his way, that's insane. So he stayed up till 3 a.m. See, that sort of thing just makes that really just warms my heart. I mean that's really cool. For you to stay up till 3 a.m, it's bloody awesome, mate. Not saying that anyone else is not awesome either. But that just shows, you know, some of the stuff that people do for you. So, you know, that's what I love about it. That's why I'm back every week. So there you go. I know I'm not the best person to demo products, but I think you can gather from me, I do have a lot of love for this sort of stuff. Like when I'm showing the Volcas, I kind of can see I geek out. I like to sort of plug it all in and muck around
but
with it.
I don't want to see quite often, you know, the expert showing you how marvelous something is. I'm not saying that what you're doing isn't expert, because what you do is a very ground roots demonstration that I can understand.
Yeah.
When you get somebody on demonstrating something really brilliantly, and we all go, "Oh, that's marvelous! I must get one."
Yeah.
And like we said before, you get it, and you can't even make a noise with it.
Yeah.
I appreciate somebody saying, "This is what it does, and if you turn this, it'll do that," and a bit of explanation. I like that. I'm much more on for that.
That reminds me of this old story. Years ago, we were talking on a forum, and Arturia just brought out their first analog synth, which was called the Mini Brute, right? You guys remember the Mini Brute when it first came out? And so people were buying these, and they were coming in, pulling them out of their boxes, and Arturia pulled all the sliders down, so there was no filter, there was no none of the waveforms were on. So and then literally, this guy from Arturia was telling me, we're getting so many recalls, like they're ringing us and telling us that their synths don't work. It's because they watched the YouTube videos, and the YouTube videos were so amazing. And then they get them they turn them and plug them in and plug all the cables in the back, and they read the manual, and then they press a note on the keyboard and nothing comes out, and they're, what?
Nothing. It's a
That's hilarious.
If I don't touch the neutron for a couple of weeks, that happens every time I touch it on. I'm like, why isn't it making a sound? Turn the envelopes up. Well, why isn't it making a sound? Oh, I mean, that thing's a bit weird if you just get the wrong. Yeah. If you forget one knob, you can be searching for hours going, it should be making a sound.
Dear.
Yeah, I do the same. Every day when I turn everything, I have to do a run round everything to find what have I turned off and why is there no sound? And it'll be some little knob somewhere that I turned off for some reason.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad it's not just us, that even the best do it.
Oh, when I was setting this up today,
Very kind.
This is my only connection that you're hearing, right? So this cable here, and that goes into the back of my mixer, and it wasn't actually plugged into the mixer. And I'm going like, what the hell's going on? And you could see the cable was going behind the mixer, and I thought, why is this not working? It's the MIDI on the wrong channel. I was going through all the MIDI settings, all the audio, and I thought, oh, maybe there's something wrong with the mixer. And then, because it's a Volca mix plugged into a mixer, I thought there was something wrong with the Volca mix. And then I traced the cable back, and it was just sitting there dangling in the breeze. I was, why did I unplug that cable?
It's really annoying because we've done this 1,000 times, and it's always the most obvious. Like you haven't switched the power on, or it's not actually plugged. Yeah. But how many times do we go, I think it's broken? Or, you've convinced yourself this massive problem, and it's always just never plugged in.
Always. Every night, because I don't want to turn any of this off, because I want to come straight in running when I get the chance to come in, I just turn the volume down on most of my devices, just the volume, but I always forget to turn them back up, or one of them. It's always the same. And yes, I'm running around going, well, what parameter have I changed? What have I unplugged? What? Oh, yeah, the volume control. Yeah. The ONOFF switch.
The idiot switch for me. That's why it's, how most power switches have I-O? That's just short for idiot. I just forgot to put the other letters in just to, hide it a bit. Dear me. All right, well, I think we'll wrap up. Awesome show, guys. It was kind of a weird topic. I didn't know how it was going to go, but yeah, it seems to have worked.
No, it's good.
So
it's good.
Yeah,
liked it.
Keep it hardware. Try and keep it hardware. Someone did ask me if I was going to do Dex, show the Volca FM with Dex. I don't need to because there's a video already on my channel that shows that. 2 actually. So I do apologise if you're waiting for that. I just don't have the time, honestly. And it's been 2 hours now, so we've been streaming for 2 hours. So anyway, much appreciated. Well, actually 2.5 hours. Wow, shit, we better stop. Much appreciated, everyone.
I didn't want to say.
Yeah.
But
Wave.
It's been a long one.
Wave bye-bye, everybody. We're going to
Bye-bye,
say goodbye.
everyone.
Bye, everyone.
We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.